to my little friend who's 6'4" and has 4 Super Bowls. Oh, no music video. No music
What's
video.
up, Kay?
What
How
up? I
you
like your
doing?
shirt. I like your
Yeah,
shirt, bro.
appreciate that. I really like this color. And I just
I
want to
like it.
say good job last week when you hosted and you analyzed the game in
Thanks.
Brazil on the YouTube station. You did wonderful. I watched the whole entire pregame. You did great at halftime and postgame as well. And
Thanks.
my favorite part was Cam came up with this crazy saying like clappity do, clappity woo, something along those lines. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it was exactly that, but it was something like that. And I was on the ground laughing. Julie and I was like, that was classic. That was hilarious. He's a character, and I love it.
He's a character. It was a lot of fun. The energy was crazy. There were a lot of Gronk jerseys, I got to tell you, in the audience. I think that's the best
Really?
part of going to an international game. Everybody just wears what they can get their hands on down there. And you're seeing like the craziest collection of jerseys. But of course, you were well represented. You and Julian watched that one together, huh? How was your first week at Fox?
Yes, first week at Fox was excellent. It was smooth. The guys are great. I mean, just being around Strahan, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, and Kurt Menefee, they're such professionals. They pick you up when you're down a little bit or make a little mistake, and they cover up for you like instantly because these guys are just pros, and just being around them makes you better as well. But everything went smooth. Takes were good. I got a little nervous at some points throughout the show, but that's how it is when it's the first one, and I haven't been on air in a while. But overall, it was fun, and I can't wait to get into week two. And I heard you talking on the break that you're going to be in Kansas City this weekend for the Kansas City
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl rematch. And guess what? The Fox pregame show will be in Kansas City as well. We will be doing a 2-hour pregame show at the Power and Light District. We will be doing halftime and postgame as well out on the field. So hopefully we get to see UK. That will be wonderful.
That's amazing. I can't believe everybody's coming in, but it is the Super Bowl rematch. It's a big game, and Fox always does things right and big when they should. And that's exciting that you guys will all be there. I love that. I love that. So let's dig into that game. You're at Arrowhead with Fox. You said Power and Light. Love it there. That's not a place that I don't know that I would trust you to run around. It's a lot of that's a whole scene down there in Power and Light. But if we look at the Eagles side of things, no rust. Okay, they did their thing against the Cowboys. No jitters. No week one anything. Their top 2 wide receivers just had 4 catches for 24 yards combined. Lots being made of that. Any thoughts on that? Do you think that AJ and Devontae need to be involved a lot more and will be against these Chiefs? I mean, look at what Justin did to this Chiefs secondary.
Well, I mean, Coach Sirianni is a wonderful coach, and he comes up with these game plans on a weekly basis. And that's why he's a great coach, because he comes up with game plans that they need to succeed against that given team that they're playing that week. So sometimes the wide receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles won't be incorporated into the game plan as much because it might be more of a running game. And you got Jalen Hurts rushing the ball. You got Saquon Barkley as well. And those two guys are so legitimate that sometimes you don't have to pass the ball. But I can tell you this, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you're number is going to be called. And when it is called, be ready to make those plays. And that will make the Philadelphia Eagles that much more dominant as well, is when these wide receivers do get incorporated into the offense and get used the right way, how they should be used. But you can't complain when you win because of the running game. So they will be used. We will see how, especially coming up in this game against Kansas City.
For the Chiefs, no Xavier Worthy, and they lost him on the third snap of that game. Of course, that you watched against the Chargers. Rashee Rice, of course, out for the foreseeable future, next handful of weeks. Jalen Royals is still possibly out. We don't know the update there. How, I guess I'll ask you this. Do you think I was talking to Jared Allen yesterday. Did they use Travis Kelce the way you thought they would when those injuries happen? And of course, without Rashee going into that, how do they generate enough offense to beat these Eagles?
It's going to be tough. I don't really think that they are going to be in a situation where they can overcome the adversity that they're going through, especially with the Eagles, how they're playing. I mean, they're coming in hot where they left off last year in the Super Bowl. I believe the Eagles are going to have the big advantage, and they're going to come out swinging once again versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And to overcome that wide receiver situation is going to be really tough. I mean, the running backs are going to have to step it up. They're going to have to generate that run game and get that going. And Hollywood Brown, that's going to be the name that the Kansas City Chiefs will be dependent on going into week two versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles secondary, I believe, struggled a little bit versus the Cowboys in week one. So they can find areas and zones to pick them apart. But Hollywood Brown needs to step it up big time. Travis Kelce is going to be used in situations situational football. I don't think that, you know, you can depend on him first, second, third down on every single, you know, every single play. But in situational football, he can come through for them. But Hollywood Brown, once again, is the guy that needs to step up like never before. This is your opportunity. Take advantage of it, Mr. Hollywood.
I think you're right, Kelsey. 2 catches, 47 yards, and the touchdown of that beautiful touchdown, but it didn't win them the game. Patrick, I thought, looked great, especially in the second half. He can't do it all on his own. What surprised you about the Chiefs when you were watching that one?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is just an incredible quarterback. You can't take away anything from him. I'm literally like, he has no weapons, and he's continuing this offense to, you know, keep the chains going. It's either with him running or just making a miracle play happen down the field. And it's just mind blowing every time. I have so much respect for him and his game with what he does. But with the Kansas City Chiefs, what I was surprised about is when things aren't going their way, as you can see, when they start struggling a little bit, they start yelling at each other. Their blame game starts going on.
Yeah,
You can
what
see it
is
on the
that?
sidelines. And that's not a good situation. I mean, you want to come together when you're down, when things aren't going your way. You want to come together to figure out why, you know, everything's not going the way it needs to go. So to see them starting to point fingers is not a good sign. They gotta, get incorporated on and get on the same page and not be blaming others.
What do you think is going on there? Because like I can't. Why does it get there? And you got like the Chris Jones and Tranquil thing that like what like yeah. I mean that never happened in New England.
Well, here we go, Kay. Remember Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas? And Buster Douglas finally beat the crap out of Mike Tyson and made Mike Tyson not invincible anymore. Well, this is kind of the same situation. The Philadelphia Eagles opened the floodgates last year in the Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, hey, we're not afraid of this super team, Kansas City Chiefs, that are very, very well known. I feel like a lot of teams last year
Wow.
had that fear. Oh, I can't swing on the Chiefs. We can't give them our best shot because they're so well known and everyone is talking about them. So the Philadelphia Eagles punched them in the face. The Chiefs didn't know how to react to that because no one else was doing that. Well, going into this year now, the Los Angeles Chargers punched them in the face. The Chiefs were like, whoa, they're coming at us. How do we react? Well, they didn't know how to react because no one was doing that before. So the Philadelphia Eagles opened that floodgate of, hey, if you punch these guys in the face, you take it to them, you come out swinging, they're going to fold and they're not going to be the team that you've been seeing all last year.
When your Patriots team lost to Chris Long's dog mask wearing Eagles, did you feel that the next year? Or is it the way the loss happened against the stunning, like punch in the mouth, like the domination? Like, I'm trying to think like,
Well, that's the difference. When the
were people
Philadelphia
not
Eagles
afraid of you?
beat the Chiefs last year, though, they absolutely beat the brakes out of them. There was no competition. It was even close. When we lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, that went down to the wire. We had over 500 yards offense. Everyone performed well on the wide receiver side on the offensive side of the ball, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. And it was down to the very last play with the Hail Mary. We were competing. It wasn't like they absolutely just knocked us out cold in the 5th round when there was 10 rounds. It went down to the wire. The Chiefs game last year in the Super Bowl was over in the second quarter. And that's the main difference, is that they didn't open the floodgates versus us. We were still coming out the next year swinging. And that's why we won the Super Bowl. We knew that we just, with a couple mistakes and a couple corrections, we can get back to where we need to get back to. And that's what we did.
I think I might have, I don't know. I really am like, I was like, the Chiefs are going to come out the gate and just that the empowerment and motivation they got from their ass kicking would absolutely trump any sort of we're not afraid of them anymore sentiment out there. But I think I might have overestimated their being gassed up by the loss versus other teams feeling a more confidence and a little bit like they're not invincible. Like, I think I might have underestimated that, at least so far. But I'm still afraid of them.
A lot of people
Jared
have.
Allen said teams aren't afraid of them. And then now you're sort of saying the same thing. And I'm like, well, what's the value of that? How much does that actually matter when you have a Patrick Mahomes who's throwing the ball vertically and we're just all normalized by his greatness and what he's like? How much does it actually matter when you do have Andy Reid and but I think it must matter a lot more than I understood.
It does matter because if you fear an opponent, you're not going to play at the level that you want to play at because you're thinking about who you're going against. It happened to me plenty of times in my situation. Say we're going versus Seattle Seahawks. Well, I know Earl Thomas was at the safety position, so I kind of feared him, going up the seam a little bit because he has laid me out a couple times. And when you fear that opponent, you're not really going to go full speed because you're thinking about it. And then that's the same situation I feel like last year versus the Chiefs. Everyone was feared them. Everyone was thinking about who they were going against. They weren't playing their game. So I do think that's such a thing, Kay.
But Gronk, don't you think like if I was trying to put myself in your and any opponent's shoes last year, and they were these close games, there's this saying, right? Like everybody gets their best punch. Like the Patriots in their dynasty, everybody got. So to me, it's like if I'm going up against the most feared, best team in the league that's gone to a million Super Bowls in a row and AFC this, AFC that, I'm more dialed in. I'm more dialed in against an opponent that I fear that's the best. Like that's why I think the Raiders gave them hell. The Panthers gave them hell last year in these games. So I guess like I would think fear would be I'd focus more in those games and not overlook them. But I guess these past two showings have been crazy, crazy.
Yes,
And then there's also
and
like, do the Chiefs, does it look like to you when you like, do the Chiefs believe in themselves less? Is that where maybe some of this like this disfunct is happening on the sidelines and stuff? Like, I don't know, maybe they believe in themselves less.
no, I mean, just the way you see them in the media and talking to the media and all that, I believe that they believe in themselves big time, but they are hurting. Remember, they are hurting big time on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense stepped it up. I mean, they played well versus the Chargers. I mean, Justin Herbert finally took his game to the next level. We've been all waiting for that for 10 years with the San Diego / LA Chargers for them to finally get over the hump. And it looks like they finally did it in week 1 of this year, opening week, which was a fantastic display by Herbert just overall in the air game and on the ground. But the Chiefs just overall are struggling in that, in the wide receiver position, and that takes away so much from their game. So when they get their guys back, there's going to be no more excuse, and I believe they'll amp it up more, and they can have more play designs as well and bigger chunk plays to get the ball moving.
Eagles favored by 1.5 points on the road. Last time the Chiefs were home underdogs was 3 years ago against the Bills, and they did in fact lose that game. I'm not going to make you pick. I know you'll pick on Fox. We'll hit a proper shot here for tomorrow night in just a little bit. Question for you. I've talked to Jared Allen yesterday, the Hall of Famer, and obviously Jalen Carter, that whole thing happened. What is it? Have you ever been spit on before? Have you ever witnessed anything? Do you have any sort of spit story from your Gronk lore?
No, I never been spit on before. I never seen anyone do it. I've heard of stories of other players getting spat on that never got caught when doing it, and I think it's a disgusting act. With spitting on another opponent, it's gross. Just spitting overall onto someone or just spitting their way. I'm turned off big time and the repercussions of doing that should definitely be at the highest level. But Jalen Carter did it. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. He's unblockable in the pass game. He's unblockable in the run game. And the Philadelphia Eagles need him big time, as you can see in week 1. They need to get that pass rush going, and Jalen Carter can get them, kick off, get that engine going for the Philadelphia Eagles. And also, I believe their secondary struggle because they really couldn't get to the quarterback. And without Jalen Carter there putting the pressure on, the secondary was kind of getting, diced apart by Dak Prescott and company by the Dallas Cowboys. So he paid his punishment. He was suspended basically the whole entire week 1 because he got booted before the game even started. And the NFL sent out a message that if you spit on another opponent, you're going to lose your whole entire paycheck that week. And on top of it, you're going to get suspended for a game. And fortunately, he got suspended or thrown out of the game before the first play. So that's where he served his suspension. But there's nowhere in the game for that. But with Jalen Carter, just calm it down and play in between the whistles. Take that aggression out in between every single down and just dominate on the football field.
See, another thing I'm looking for in this game, and you'll be there to see it, but like we're talking about the changes on the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs secondary is a problem. Like after that game, my first thing I wanted to ask Keenan is like, y'all had no issue just going after the secondary. They don't have Justin Reed anymore outside of McDuffie. It's sort of a question. And then like looking at this matchup, like the Super Bowl rematch, they don't have CJ GJ. anymore. They don't have Slay. And it's definitely like, I know we have Cooper DeJean and all of that, but it's definitely, there's a lot of changes in the secondary from last year. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on that because the Cowboys did have a lot of opportunities in that week 1 battle. Can you explain Drake May to me? Your Patriots,
Oh,
30.
yes, yes. The Patriots, they came out flat, I can tell you that. I bought into the hype in the offseason, no doubt about that. I think a lot of people out there bought into the hype. Everyone thought the Patriots were going to come out flying, we're going to play, with urgency. And let me tell you, it wasn't there. Drake May had a pretty decent game, but it's not like he took that next step from his rookie year into his second year. And usually that's when NFL players make their biggest step in their career, is from being a young buck all the way, and maturing and going to your second and third year. But we did not see that with Drake May, but he still played pretty good, but he just looked a little timid out there as well. And the Patriots need chunk plays. They need to be able to move the ball down the
Mhm.
field with big time plays. And on top of it, they need to find ways to score in the red zone. They don't really have any touchdown threats, guys that can just score like immediately, just like that in the red zone. They got to get creative with plays in order to get the guys open. So the red zone is going to be a big, big iffy for the New England Patriots, and hopefully they can come up with something.
Drake hasn't won an NFL game throwing more than 25 passes. That's definitely a thing. Dolphins this week, there are a lot of question marks on the Dolphins as well, which, I mean, are you buying into them being this bad?
Yeah, like you said, though, the Patriots, they do need to get the run game going. I mean, Drake May throwing it over 40 times is
Not good.
unnecessary. They can't be winning like that. But the Miami Dolphins, they're terrible. And it's been coming out of that camp for a long time, about a year in the making. I have not heard a good thing come out from Miami about the Miami Dolphins in about over a year. Just reports about how unhappy players are, how Coach McDaniels is losing the locker room, all that type of stuff. And that showed week 1 last week versus the Indianapolis Colts. The display was horrendous. They got a lot of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. You didn't see anything. You've been hearing about how Tyreek Hill wants to get traded out, how he's not happy there since last year. So it's just the turmoil has just been real, and it showed big time in week 1, and that was no good. So the Patriots, they need to win this game. I mean, they're on the up, the Dolphins are on the down, but if the Patriots don't win, then that's going to be a really rough start to Vrabel's, head coaching gig with the Pats.
I'm on the weather app here, the Weather Channel app. Okay, let's look. Sunday, it is high of 86, some thunderstorms. The Pats down in Miami. It's always been a thing. I don't know if
It
maybe it
has
was just
always
a
been a thing.
Belichick thing. If you're, now that you're in this, you're wearing this FanDuel shirt, Pete, I would like you to give me where does that factor into this? That it's hot, that it's gross, the bench, all of that. Like, how do you factor in that when you're thinking about, because that's the first thing I think of, Patriots down in Miami, never good, never what I think it's going to be. Even when Tom Brady was the quarterback, how do you factor that into this one?
It
Five
just
straight
doesn't
losses at
matter.
Miami. Five
Yes.
straight losses at Miami. Holy moly.
I mean, it's like Miami just has the Patriots number. Like the city of Miami just rips the heart out of Patriot fans every single time, the Patriots go down to play in Miami.
Why?
But the weather is a factor. Yes, it's going to be 86 degrees, like you said, sunny. If it rains, then the humidity and dew point will be even higher, which makes it that much harder to run around. I mean, you don't practice in that type of weather being in New England. The Dolphins are always practicing in that type of weather. You get sweaty right away, the ball gets slippery. It's hard to breathe. You're breathing deeper, so you're more tired. So you're not playing at the rate that you want to play at with your quickness and your speed. So it does catch up to you, and it's a 1 o'clock game, right in the prime of when it's the hottest during the day, from 1 to 4. The sun, rain, all that will just come together, and the humidity will be popping. So that plays a big factor into it, and I would say that's why the Patriots struggle every time we go down there, is because it's tough, and then you start cramping, you get dehydrated. It's a real thing, Kay. It really is.
I can tell by just the way your facial expressions. Like, it is a thing.
You
It's a
on?
very, it's not a, yeah. What?
Because I struggled plenty of times going down there, and I struggled big time when I first got to Tampa as well. The first 2 weeks just practicing in training
Mm.
camp, and that humidity and heat. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a game changer, and not in a good way. It hurts, in the end. It makes you a better player because you get used to it, and your body can get used to that heat, and then you can sustain it. But it's a real thing, and I struggled plenty of times. That's why I believe it's a factor.
Dolphins 1.5-point favorites over the Patriots on FanDuel Sportsbook. Who you got?
I mean, that,
You're going to
how
pick
can you?
Miami. I would pick Miami.
I mean, it's a tough one because I don't want to go against the Patriots. Like I bought into the hype. I said they're going to have a solid team, and they came
Their
out so
offense
flat.
13
They
points
didn't-
over the Raiders, Gronk.
They didn't play with any urgency. So I don't want to go against the Patriots. But then also last week, the Miami Dolphins were so horrendous, Kay. They were so terrible. It was such a bad display. So I'm going to go. The Patriots finally beat that losing streak down there in Miami. They're not going to lose 6 in a row. I'm just going with the odds of losing 6 in a row. That it's kind of impossible to do that. So New England Patriots to win because they're going to pick up their running game. That's why they're going to depend on Travion Henderson more. So boom, their run game is going to be great, and they're going to win. Patriots.
I love this short TV break. We'll keep talking to Gronk here in the break, and this is why you should subscribe to the YouTube. The Lions were your Super Bowl pick.
Yes, they were.
It's just week one. It's just week one.
It is just week one.
I believe in this team. They've got this insane, complete mega team, the Packers, this week. What stuck out to you? What's your main takeaway from week one?
I would say the Lions struggled, due to their coordinators leaving. And I even said it in the pregame show that don't expect much of a change with the identity of the Detroit Lions. You want to know why? Because their defensive coordinator is Calvin Shepard. He was their linebacker coach, and he got promoted, and he learned from Aaron Glenn. He learned the schemes from him. So I didn't expect the defense to fall apart that much without Aaron Glenn because of the same schemes and the same guys on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they got John Morton, who came over from the Denver Broncos. He was their passing game coordinator. And the reason why there was going to be definitely an initial learning curve with the offense, but the reason why I didn't see them struggling that much is because the Detroit Lions have that core group of players on the offensive side of the ball. And I believe chemistry within the players is more important than having a brand new offensive coordinator. So I thought they were going to be able to come up to par quickly with the new offensive coordinator, and that wasn't the case. They're still learning the system, and they didn't gel together. So losing to both of those coordinators was definitely a big no-no for the Detroit Lions. It did not look like a Dan Campbell team.
Both teams coming off week one division losses. Lions favored by 5.5 points at home. Gronk, do the Bears pull off an upset with their former coordinator? What a freaking game. I can't wait.
I mean, I'm kind of like a Bears fan as well, because I just want to see the Bears to be good again. Like the city of Chicago has so much history with the game of football. And it's a great city as well. So I kind of cheer for the Bears because I just love the saying "da Bears" as well. And it would just be cool to see them be good. I think it would be great for football, but I think the Lions pick it up. They're going to learn from their mistakes. And they got to come out firing. I mean, you can't have that type of display, especially with the same group of guys basically that they have from last year still. The Lions got to pick it up, and they're going to mesh together. I think it was possibly just a fluke going versus the Packers last week.
I mean, this Packers
Lions.
defense, yeah, they don't let Gibbs do anything. But I like the perspective. It's Da Bears versus your Super Bowl pick. It's hard to decide. But I mean, I think let me ask you this. If we have a couple minutes, so we're back on the TV with the prop and shot. Actually, never mind. We're back in 10 seconds. Well, Lions win over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's do this. Let me know when we're back, Richard. Let's get into tomorrow night, kicking off week 2 on Amazon. Commanders Packers. It's another game at Lambeau. The Commanders, they were pumping in some very specific crowd noise yesterday. Let's take a listen to some of this. Go, Pat, go. What do you think of this?
I think it's a smart, play. I mean, that's what a lot of teams did in the NFL. That's what we did with the Patriots. That's what we did with the Buccaneers. When you're going on the road, you pump a lot of music into practice so you can start getting used to that crowd noise and not being able to hear each other. So the hand signals and the communication without being able to verbally talk to each other, become where it's to the level that it needs to be so you can function at a high level so you can get the plays off and the calls off and get the snap count off at the right time that you needed to. So great job the way that the Washington Commanders are practicing right now.
I love it. I expect it to be even louder after Matt LaFleur sort of chastised Packers fans for selling their tickets to Lions fans. And after that brilliant win, after getting Micah, I think Packers fans are going to hold on to their tickets if they can. Let's get to these. Okay, sorry. Packers 3.5-point faves I'm seeing right now in FanDuel Sportsbook against these Commanders tomorrow night. What does it come down to quickly and who wins it?
I think it's going to come down to the Washington Commanders run game. I mean, it was very solid week one. They had a well-balanced attack. And if the Green Bay Packers front seven can handle Washington Commanders run game, then the Green Bay Packers are going to run away with this game.
Okay, love this. Let's bring in Hamilton. We do our thing here with FanDuel Sportsbook. We are both partners, and we have Prop-A-Shot. Ham, take it away.
All right, let's recap last week where the scoreboard stands right now. Gronk, you went 2 for 3. Kay went 1 for 3. So Gronk, you have the early lead here. You guys know how this game works. I'm going to tee up 3 props for each of you. Packers, Commanders tomorrow night. Gronk, I'm going to start with you. Line for Jordan Love's passing yards, 223.5.
Yes, I got a quick question, Harrison. Is this the first time I've ever been in the lead in Prop-A-Shot? Because last year I was down every single week. So hold on, I'm just still celebrating. The first time I'm in the lead with Prop-A-Shot, it's an honor. It feels great. And I'm going to go with Jordan Love having under 223.5 passing yards. He's going to have a good game. He's going to make some throws when he needs to make some throws, but they're going to have a balanced attack. They're going to be able to run the ball as well. And they don't really have too many explosive playmakers at the wide receiver position, so under 223.5 yards.
All right, Kay, you're up. Jaden Daniels' line for passing touchdowns is 1.5. So does he go over or under that?
I'm going to let Gronk enjoy this one, but it's over. Week one, rust. Week one, no, everything's up and down. I'm going to go with over for Jaden here. I think both these teams are going to put up points. I think we're going to have fireworks here on Thursday night to kick off week 2. The Packers defense, they were insane attitude, tone setting, rough against everything offensively last year, or last week rather, but they were really good at stopping the run. Okay. Jaden's going to have to throw a lot more than we even saw last week. And I'm going to say tosses a pair of touchdowns.
All right, Gronk, back to you. Debo had a big week one. His line for receiving yards against the Packers is 53.5. Does he hit the over on that?
Yeah, he's continuing from week one. He's going to go over 53.5 yards. Jaden McDaniels will be looking for him. Also expect Terry McLaurin to have a big game as well. He didn't really do much last week. Those 2 wide receivers are going to be coming out hot. And if they dominate and they get the run game going and Debo comes out and plays like Debo, it's going to be a great game.
All right, okay. Your Josh Jacobs' line for rushing yards is 78.5. Does he hit the over on that?
Oh man, I got to get this right because Gronk's right on both of his. I'm going to go over. I don't know. It might be a little close to home, a little personal because he's one of my favorite running backs in the game. But I feel like the Commanders did their thing. They stopped the Giants' run game last week, but that was the Giants, and they have. This Packers team improved, okay? And I think this is, I don't know. I just feel good about it. I think he hits 80 plus, and they're going to lean on him tomorrow night. Short week, Lambeau, over.
All right, Gronk, give me one anytime touchdown score for the Packers.
Well, I love my tight ends. I really love the game that Mr. Kraft, and not my boss, Mr. Kraft, brings to the table. It's Mr. Tucker Kraft, what he brings to the table. He hammers defenders when he gets the ball. He's a hard guy to take down. He had a touchdown last week, and I believe he's going to continue it into week 2 on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's a great pick. Hey, you're up. One anytime touchdown score for the Commanders.
I love that Mr. Kraft is still your boss. That's incredible. I'll go with Terry McLaurin. He's back. Quieter week 1. This is a guy who had 13 touchdowns, though, a season ago. I think he and Jaden get going through the air. The run stopped a little bit. Debo included in the running being stopped. So I think that Terry McLaurin is going to find the end zone at least once. Let's recap prop a shot. Gronk in the lead. I'll go with Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Josh Jacobs over 78.5 rushing, and a Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown. Gronk is going with Jordan Love under 223.5. Debo over 53.5 receiving yards, and Tucker Kraft to get in the end zone. Gronk, appreciate you. Good luck. I'll see you in Kansas City.
All right, I'll see you in Missouri. Take care.